Good afternoon, everybody. I'm on my selfie stick. Let's see if this works. I'm coming up to the 15th year of having started. I first started my studies in all of this in May 2006. In 15 years of seeing clients, and I've estimated I've seen about 2,500 clients in that time frame, which is not that many really if you consider, this has been my job. So what have I learned in those 15 years having seen that many clients? Because there are commonalities that you discover, and those commonalities are pain and suffering. People are trapped in a certain place where they are stuck, and it's all to do with the mind. It's all to do with the unconscious mind, whether that is because they've got physical health problems or mental health problems, or they're stuck in loveless marriages, or can't get married, or can't fulfill the wishes of their heart, I talk about. And all this work does is help individuals to connect to that and to free up the limitations that people are going through. And when you do that, it's amazing what will happen in terms of people's health will improve, physical and mental. Relationships can get better. People can get the courage to leave relationships. People can get the courage to start relationships. People can make these big life decisions that they've put off for a long, long time. And so the challenge that they've come to see me with actually becomes then the springboard, much like it was in my life, or exactly what it was like in my life, to then manifest what they really would love to experience, because what they're getting out of life is really bad and they don't like it. And so really, if you're that powerful, you've attracted all of that negative stuff into your life, you're equally that powerful to attract good stuff into your life and better stuff into your life, because it's all a reflection of the inner. So the outer is a reflection of the inner, and this is why this work is so important, to go and change the inner, because it's what's happening in our inner worlds. It has to manifest on the outside. It can't go anywhere. Wherever you go, there you are. It's your being. It's like, so you're a magnet. And people have talked about the law of attraction, but it's equally the law of vibration. And so what we are vibrating, whatever we are being, we are then getting. So I thought this would be nice and quiet in here. There's a big motorbike down here going, Rah! You can have a look down here. It's a bike trail down there. I quite like this selfie thing. Might do a bit more of this. So what have I learned? What have I learned? That when we take full responsibility for our own being, even when bad things have happened to us, and it's almost like it doesn't seem like we've done it. It's like the outer world has been nasty to us. But when we can take 100% responsibility, we can overcome the suffering. We can overcome the problems that we've got going on, and we can manifest better. I've got to the point where I don't really need to do this so much anymore. I know that I'm meant to grow and grow beyond this, and when you see one-to-ones like I've done, it's the same old thing, and it doesn't matter how much money you charge. It's the same issue. People forget about money at the end of the day, and they work on their issue, and whether they're over it in, back when I used to charge a few £100s to now it's a few £1,000s, it's inconsequential. They just want to get over their issue, or wish to get over their issue, and have a better life. And I can see myself doing more group work in the future. I know we're in COVID right now, but equally I've been writing a book for 13 and a half years, and at some point in the next few years I'd like to think that I've got that completed, and then things will spring from that. So I am still going to see one-to-ones, but I don't chase work anymore, and I actually turn it away. Last year I gave 2 refunds to people who were just struggling in their own way, But with COVID and everything that was going on in the world, my tolerance for not being respected, which can happen from time to time, particularly when I'm this far into my career, I just gave money back. I actually gave one woman in America back some money for a session that went perfectly fine. And she'd enter it into a package, and I just went, you know what, have it all back. Use the money for something else. And someone else, they just weren't committed, and I was doing them a disservice. They'd be better off spending money with someone else. And working that way, because they weren't really ready to change and take responsibility. And if you're not in that place, I'm not the right person, because I'm about results, and it's a wonderful feeling when you get clients who are really ready to change, and you're just helping them just fine-tune those little bits, and that's a richness that does not compare with money. It's an amazing feeling. And then you can get other people who are like on the fence. Oh, well, I want to change, but you have to get to the place where it's like, no, I'm ready to change now. It's so painful here, I'll do anything. I'm ready. The famous psychiatrist Dr. Milton Erickson would make people walk, I think it was called Squaw's Peak. So the clients that were going to go and see him were the patients. He was in America, in Texas, I believe. They had to go through like a trial in order to be able to work with him to sort the wheat from the chaff. Because it's a bit like if someone wants to stop smoking, but they come and see you and they're puffing on the pavement. I mean, I don't do stopping smoking anymore, not after nearly 15 years. I did in the first 5 years. I didn't like it, couldn't stand it, didn't like the smell that was coming from clients in the room. And I do all online sessions anyway now, but they'd be smoking on the pavement. Last cigarette of my life. Right, now I'm ready to change. And some would, some wouldn't. It's amazing. I've talked a lot about my own father. My own father tried to give up. I'll tell you what made him give up. Having a terminal diagnosis of lung cancer. He gave up immediately. It's amazing the pain of that. That will make you change. Never really had any, what do they call it, complications from doing it, withdrawal symptoms. No, that really made him quit. And he lived for another 9 months, less than a day. And actually, what day is it today? Saturday, 2 days ago, was the 20th anniversary of his terminal diagnosis. And ironically, it was the day that he said after this camera went down his throat and they'd found this mass around the left lung, and it had breached and out and spread all into his heart, or around his heart, so it was inoperable. He was just going, 25 years. 25 years. And it was 25 years to the day that his father had died of cancer of the esophagus. 25 years to the day, 25th of March 1976, when I was 20 months old. Amazing. And also, I will add, with my dad, you'd always ask my dad, what when he was older, and he'd just go shake his head and just go, what, you're going to be upstairs? What, you're going to be on the ceiling? What? No, he fully believed he'd die early. And he did, 57. Elvis had that same belief, Never believed he'd live to a great age, and died, I think he was about 43 when he died, Elvis. A little stillness. I'm so passionate about what I do. It's the best thing in the world. It really is. And I only wish to grow with it further and further. And the more I've worked on myself, the more that you realise that there are no limitations. The only limitations are there that are imposed by this. And if I think, now I'm 46 and a half, that when I was 30, I took 3/4 of a bottle of spirits and 16 sleeping tablets, having been paralysed down the left-hand side of my body, with no one around, terrified of being homeless, terrified of being put in terrified of being put in a mental institution. The world needs to know how powerful they are. Each individual needs to know how powerful they are. I don't recognise that young guy anymore. Still partly think I'm as young as him, but you can change your life. And you actually don't need me or hypnosis or any of these tools. It's like with my dad, you just need to be in such a painful place that you just go, no more, and you make the change. Having said that, you can still work with me. But, I don't have therapy or coaching anymore from anybody. It's all in here and in here. And gut down there as well, and even connected to higher self. I feel like something guides me these days. Something powerful is at work. I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. This is my dharma. This is my soul path. And it makes me feel deeply alive when I think of my dad and his life. Dear, dear, dear. He left a great legacy of how not to live life. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you can do it. Whatever it is that you deeply wish to experience and manifest, you can do it.